Hey guys, Dantix here, bringing you a powerful Veilguard warrior build. Do you like knocking your enemies around and roasting them alive while cackling maniacally? Do you like spreading insanely damaging effects like wildfire that continually stack with both you and your companions? Do you like being rewarded for your perfect parrying skills with insane fire damage and huge team-wide buffs? Do you like breezing through nightmare difficulty as even fire-resistant enemies are no longer resistant to your damage? Well, the Pyro Champion build might just be for you. So in this video, I'll go through everything you need to know to get this build up and running right from the beginning all the way till end game. I'll go through your character and your companion's skills, abilities, gear, and enchantments, as well as explain how it all works in practice. Also, I didn't want to use my warrior as he was made purely for an ugly evil build, so thanks to Nauza who shot me over his warrior save file. He's over there putting up some great Dragon Age videos as well, so check him out. So, buckle up.
I'm Commander Shepard, and Dantix is my favorite channel on the Citadel.
You don't get the discount.
What?
First, let's take a look at the skills. The abilities we want are Titan Stomp, Grappling Spear, and Blight Bane. Now, we make our way up from Counter Blow to Titan Stomp to begin with. It's an area control ability. It's on a cooldown, which means we'll be able to use all of our rage for Blight's Bane, and it applies Overwhelmed. That won't be applicable in this particular build as we don't want to combo at all. We're just going to be using the companions Davrin and Tash for their ability to do a lot with burning effects and fire damage. So we're not going to worry about comboing it at all. We make our way up, getting anything to do with projectile abilities since it affects both Blight's Bane and our Grappling Spear. We go past Ground Breaker, which is an ability you can use until you get Blight Bane. We go up, then we get the ability Upgrade Good Arm. When a projectile ability hits an enemy, it ignores all resistances. That's very useful because that will mean that Blight Bane and Grappling Spear ignore the resistance to fire damage, because all of these will be doing fire damage and resistances are a bit of a pain in the bum. So we make our way down and get Unbroken Finale. That just means you have a powerful shield attack at the end of a combo string. At this point, we'll be around level 10, level 15. We won't be ready for the level 20 unlock of the champion specialization. So we get Grappling Spear. Grappling Spear is a projectile control ability that does fire damage and is on a cooldown as well. So once again, it means we can use Blight's Bane without wasting our rage. It also has the added benefit of bringing enemies towards you. And we get the Breathing Room upgrade, which increases the size of area abilities, which makes the Blight's Bane even bigger. We also pick up collateral damage. It means hitting more than one enemy will increase the damage it does. We can also pick up another Breathing Room and start our way down this way until we get to level 20, in which time we want to pick up every single thing we can within the champion specialization. Some areas will be locked until level 30, some until level 40, but pick up everything you can starting with the top section. First though, you'll get the ultimate ability Warden's Fire. It simply does a lot of fire damage to your targets in an AoE in front of you and applies burning, which helps with this build. But then we'll pick up the main ability we want to be using, Blight Bane. Is an area projectile, does a lot of damage, takes 2 rage pips, so 100 rage, and it detonates weakened. It also applies burning to each enemy in a radius, and each of those explosions apply burning as well. So if you hit a target right in the center, you can apply maximum stacks pretty quickly. You'll see that in the footage coming up that some enemies just have 6 stacks straight away, and that's because they got hit fairly close with a Blight's Bane. It's like a grenade being thrown out, so you do have to aim it. Then we have the ability upgrade Endless Fire. It makes area abilities now deal fire damage, and that does apply to Titan Stomp. We've got the trait Reverb. When we execute a perfect defense, it means when we parry perfectly, it creates a shockwave that does 300 fire damage and applies burning to all enemies. Then with the greater passive Ring of Fire, burning is now applied to enemies around the target that was burnt, so it just exponentially stacks. This is like a wildfire effect. Everything is going to be burning around you. Then with the next greater passive, Inflamed, burning damage increases by 20% of your current rage. So if you have a lot of rage and you'll only be using it for Blight Bane, it means enemies will be taking a lot of burning stack damage. We have the trait Inspiring Guard. Executing a perfect defense, now grants you Rally Party. It means your party will be doing a lot more damage, and we're focusing on our companions primarily dealing fire damage and doing damage against enemies, so you'll see it actually does quite a lot. Then there's more defensive abilities in this tree. Now if we go down, we have other abilities like Wear and Tear. Damage from area abilities gain 30% penetration, so that's going to go through their resistances and their armor then, because of our resistant piercing good arm ability. Then we can also pick up Dazzle. Hitting multiple enemies with a single area ability grants Quickened, which means our Grappling Spear and our Titan Stomp will be cooled down much faster. Have a look around the tree if there's anything else you want to pick up. I recommend picking up anything to do with area or projectile abilities, or if you really want, you can get control as well for these too. But as you can see, the build will come online fairly quickly, because after level 30, when you pick these two up, you're going to be spreading burning effects around like a madman. Then when it comes to gear, it's all very self-explanatory. Pick up anything that helps with burning damage and helps with burning effects. Now this just helps on perfect defense to pull enemies towards you. You do not need this unique heater at all. You can just get things that help with affliction damage, with burning damage, like you can kind of see here, flaming weapons, fire damage increase, and another fire damage increase. So it's a very, very straightforward build. I'm not going to bother going through all of these like I normally do, because you know exactly what to look for. It's the same with runes as well, and it's the same with your enchantments. As you can see, final attack damage, fire damage, weapon damage, ultimate generation, and then make sure you pick up projectile ability damage and pick up area ability damage, and then pick up burning damage. Those are really the only core. Now when it comes to enchantments on your abilities, anything that really decreases the cooldown or increases their damage. In terms of which background, I would say the Grey Wardens, flavor wise. However, all of the passive increases aren't very substantial, so just go for what you like the most. When it comes to companions, you might want to pick up one of the three mages, or even two of the three mages, being Balara, Emmerich, and Nev, because they'll combo with you fairly well, since they can apply the weakened effect and you can detonate it, or you might even want Harding or Lucanus because they can detonate the overwhelm effect. But for this build, I like just having pure damage. So I pick up Davrin and Tash because they both can benefit from burning stacks, help with burning stacks, increase the damage of burning, and increase fire damage with things like attack my target, applies vulnerability to fire damage, and vulnerability to fire damage is increased by 25%. Then we have things like the entire party gets +1 maximum burning stacks. We also have increased burning damage, and she receives 50% of your burning damage bonus. Then we also have with Davrin, attack my target, applies vulnerability to fire damage, and vulnerability to fire damage is increased by 25%. So you can see these stack with each other. We also have the whole party gets flaming weapons whenever you rally party, and if you remember, the trait Inspiring Guard makes it so when you parry, you get rally party. So that works very well. We also have detonation supply burning. We also have Davrin's weapon damage is all fire damage. Then we'll use abilities like Asan's Strike. So he has another way to apply burning. You can also get In War Victory, which makes it so you gain 20% of your ultimate when you cast this. So what you can do is, before combat, cast In War Victory, you get a 20% increase of your ultimate, wait for it to cool down, cast it again, get more ultimate, have your ultimate every single fight, which is perfect for Nightmare difficulty. We'll also use Battle Cry because it passively goes off, meaning that you'll take less damage from enemies. It also, with Searing Rage, makes it so when enemies are taunted, they take 40 fire damage per second. Then with Tash, we have the Spitfire ability because it does fire damage, and with Spreading Weakness, it'll automatically fire off, meaning that she's going to keep spreading the weakness, so to speak, while you're passively fighting. Also, you can activate Fire Breath, which does a lot of fire damage and applies burning to everything it hits. You can also increase its damage with Inferno, but best of all, with the Overheat ability upgrade, every time the target takes damage from burning applied by this ability, the target's fire resistance is reduced by 5%, So you just keep doing exponentially more fire damage to targets that both these companions hit. Then you can make a choice between Dragon's Roar or Fortune's Favor, or you can even go for Dragonfire Strike. That's really up to you. For enchantments, I put on Apply Burning on Armor Break and Affliction Damage for Tash, but for Davrin, this is the core. Attack my target applies Burning, and +1 maximum stack of Burning. When it comes to the Hero of the Veilguard choices, Davrin wants to make the choice that gets him the Battle Master passive, increasing the damage a Sunstrike does and granting you precision, getting you some easy crits. The armor it grants doesn't matter, as the one we have on works better for your build. Tash though has some great choices. The passive we want is Ravani Flare, as it increases her damage output and makes it so her burning now does 50% more damage on the initial hit. The armor, like Davrin, works with detonations, and we won't be detonating targets. If that changes, give their armor a look. So how does this build play? Since you have 2 abilities on cooldown, you want to get them cooling down as fast as possible. So pick out a high priority target and grappling spear them towards you. You can either start knocking them around with your Unbroken Finality combo string in order to get them off a ledge, or you can Titan Stomp to start piling on the damage and stagger. You might even decide to run right into the middle of the fray and start perfect countering in order to gain your series of advantages like flaming weapons in order to wreck base. As soon as you have rage, if nothing is already burning, throw out a Blight Bane in order to pile stacks on. You can use your ultimate against grouped up enemies or dodge attacks. You don't have a way to heal naturally, so your potions will be your friends, and since they apply burning, being in the middle of the fight works to your advantage. Don't forget to target your enemies with your companions to reduce your target's fire resistance, as well as cast their abilities to start stacking burning. This is a powerful defensive build, so you don't need to rush. Your enemies do, as they'll be ticking down the longer they don't kill you. So that's everything. What do you think of this build? Let me know below. If you like this kind of content, let the algorithm know as well. For everything RPG and Dragon Age, you're in the right place. Ciao friends.